Welcome to the Nailed It Wall.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Nailed It Wall. This week we got a lot to talk about. I don't know if you're ready to process it all, but we're going to talk about EDU drone conference that Mrs. Scofield and myself are both speaking at. Mrs. Grabham's also one of the 40 presenters at this international conference. We're going to debate a hot topic among adults, kids, and the youth going on, these millennials. AirPods. Yes, we're going to talk about AirPods. We're also going to have a controversial debate about our podcast artwork. And does Mrs. Scofield's sister actually like her? Tune in, people. It's going to be a great episode. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Welcome to the Nailed It Wall. I'm Mr. Lane, the STEM guy.
And I'm Mrs. Schofield.
I'm just so pumped for this episode. I can't get over it. We've been on fall break. We haven't been together for 3 days here. We still have one more day of break, which feels pretty good.
Feels really good.
But today's a pretty important milestone going on. Today is actually International Podcast Day. And just to be fitting, we have to record a podcast today.
That's right.
And you've been starting to roll out podcasts to your students, like kind of leading up to this event. This what kind of inspired you to get them going. So shout out to the hashtag International Podcast Day, celebrating your favorite podcasts all over the world. Don't forget, if you love this podcast, subscribe, tell your grandparents, tell your neighbors, tell anybody who loves education and ourselves. Now we always start off every week with how we've nailed it. How have you nailed it this week?
Well, my nailed it in a hilarious way was with your Kiva Plank challenge. When you told
love Kiva planks. Can you tell us what are Kiva planks?
No, you tell us what Kiva planks
all right.
are.
Well, this past week, shout out to Kim Tanner, our accounting clerk. The Kiva planks came in. We ordered 2,000 Kiva planks. You know, you think they're just like little wood blocks, you know, but think of these cool little rolly bins that you got. Every makerspace needs to have Kiva planks.
I agree.
And they're just blocks to build with. All right, go on with your story.
So, you know, you said if you get a chance, pop in and we'll challenge the 8th graders. You did not mention that we would be challenging them with dinner on the line that we would be paying for, but that's fine. And then
we're going halfsies.
No, I know. But, you know, I did make sure to
before I did that, the reason I had you pop in was I was nervous. Now, the reason why I was nervous was it was a half day, so we have these shortened classes, and they're 30 minutes. They're like rapid fire, and they're 8th graders. You know, you never know what's going to be a hit, what's going to be a miss. And I was like, all right, I'm going to raise the stakes a little bit before I said anything. And when they walked in, as I said this, they were just so excited to see these like planks. They were like so geeked up, and so I was nervous. I was like, all right, I'm going to put lunch on the line. If you can beat us, lunch is on the line. And they just lost their mind.
Are you sure you said lunch? Because I felt like you said dinner.
Dinner would be a little much. You know, I said lunch. I said in the the DoorDash neighborhood. You know.
Okay, that's good.
So, anyways, but I was so nervous. I'm like, is this gonna be below the 8th graders? Are they gonna be laugh at this and like not be excited about this challenge? But they lost their minds. All right, go on.
Well, now that you said that, it's gonna be even more humiliating because what you challenged them with, which I think I missed a key part of this whole challenge because I walked in just shy of the intro, and I guess it was to build the tallest tower, right? And I was
going for height.
Yeah, height. Good. That is a key part in this challenge. But I thought, creativity and like architectural design, those elements. And so I had this.
You're a big fan of architecture.
I am. And I immediately had this vision, and I was very excited, and you totally hitched your horse to the wrong wagon because I was our lead, and I started building it, and then you quickly pointed out that everybody else's towers were higher than mine, taller, and then I realized this is a horrible mistake. So I think pretty early on we just knocked the whole thing down and started over. But then even still, every time I would start building, I would realize that my whole tower was like a leaning tower of Pisa, literally every single time. And then I was trying to hold our team afloat because you needed to capture pictures.
I did. I basically left you by yourself.
No, not basically. Literally, you left me by myself. But I fully support that because pictures are essential.
I got some great pictures of the 8th graders. Check them out on Twitter. Kiva planks, amazing.
They are really amazing. And I have to say, even though I was a great big loser in that whole contest, I had so much fun. Like, I had so much fun. And they're just planks. They're just, I don't even know. I mean, I'm trying to, I guess it's just like a little bit longer than a domino, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 dominoes worth.
Love that
them.
you went with the domino reference.
Yeah, I mean,
for all
is ironic.
for all of our younger viewers, dominoes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind
it's
of
not a
fitting.
pizza chain.
It's kind of fitting though, because mine, tumbled down repeatedly it did, but it was super fun.
And I think we took second place, right? Did we?
Oh, I don't know about that, because mine fell.
I think Dylan and Sam might have beaten us.
Yeah, well, Max
took first place. I mean, he set a school record.
Yeah, and then I think I was
centimeters.
after that. I don't know. I think you're being very generous, but I'll take it because
Caitlin
I worked
and Steven
really.
ran out of planks. I think we took second. Like we did redeem ourselves.
I love the word "we" there, but yeah, I worked so hard. But
We're a team, my friend.
I was genuinely into this challenge though, but it was a fail. However, number one, it was important for me to see, like how you said, you just gave these kids planks. Like, that's what you gave them, was wooden planks, and then challenge them. And then you and I talked about a ton of different things that you could, do from there with them. And like that one tool, just one makerspace tool could be a ton of different, really, really fun, lessons. I'm super excited to see what they do.
And we quickly realized that to do this with a bigger class, we need 2 more sets.
Easily.
I'd say, like, if you have a class of 30, you at least need 4,000 of these Kiva planks. And, they're not cheap. But they're not, like, over the top. I mean, you could potentially make these Kiva planks yourself. It would take a lot of work.
But they are nice. They're really, really nice. And then they're all standard, they're all the same. And so, but the stuff that they came up with, it was really, really amazing to me. And, humbling, for sure.
And again, the pictures, they were truly amazing, like seeing these kids. I mean, and our base was like, the base of our tower was just so insane. We went from like this architecture design to like trying to go up from it, and it was so wonky to say is like the best word to kind of describe like what was actually going on with our tower.
It really was. It was really wonky and very it was very teetery, that's for sure. And it was really cool. I loved hearing the other kids talk about when they realized that theirs was going down. They would say, like, I think I saw mine tremble. And then I wasn't sure if it was moving. And then I was watching. And then, sure enough, it would fall down. But that was, again, a fail. However, so much fun, and like nailed it in the best possible way too.
And one 8th grader, like I said, starting off this like class project, like one 8th grader just said, "Can we do this every day?" Like they were just so excited. They were so bummed like when it came tumbling down, but their designs, their creativity, it was just such an awesome like half day like lesson to roll out with these kids. And I already felt I got my money's worth times 4
totally.
like with these Kiva planks. And here's something like we've been eyeing since the summer. We're like, we got to get Kiva planks. Like,
so cool.
There's so many cool things that you can do with these Kiva planks. And then already, like, remember, like Max was leaving class and he's like, look at this, I just Googled this image and this guy's built like he's on like a forklift and things like crazy. 2 stories high. And it was just awesome that these kids were, I was worried about rolling this out, and they were like Googling images of like Kiva planks.
Yeah, but it's funny because when you were just talking about that, it reminds me of, a couple episodes ago when we were talking about how kids, the older kids, they want to be able to do those things that they did when they were younger. And so, much like when I roll things out with Play-Doh, and
you've been crushing the Play-Doh this year.
Dude, I need a Play-Doh budget because that stuff is expensive, and the kids
but
love it.
The level of the things your kids are doing with it every single time, I'm like, I can't get over what they're doing like with the Play-Doh.
They love Play-Doh. They love it. And so but like Play-Doh, and then like when we were talking about Z wanting to just color. But it was that building. It's like going back to being really, really young and being able to build and be engineers with blocks. I mean, just blocks is like one of the best tools that you can use, but their level of thinking and their, the way that they problem solve that. And then they're so cutthroat, how mine tumbled down and they were like vultures coming for them. I was like, you guys have no heart, seriously. But it was so much fun.
That was awesome. And then how do you knock it out of the park this week?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things that I was going to say. Number one is, I've been trying to show up to as many volleyball games as I can. And I've been to quite a few this year, but with Ella playing badminton, that's been a little bit tricky. So I had said to the kids one day, just jokingly, like, oh, we should bring a cowbell in. And so then we have 2 cowbells in my class, so they got those. And then it became 2 cowbells and a ukulele. And then so Sam, my son, has been super excited and wanted to play the tuba. So learned how to do this fight song and then ended up doing.
Can you hum the beat for us?
I don't know. What is the song? Oh gosh, when you're trying to think of a song and then you can't think of the tune.
I don't know
the
song.
It's, dun 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 dun, hey, dun dun dun, that one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
I kept saying hey at the wrong time.
You did.
And he was getting pretty frustrated with me.
He was trying so hard to stay with
But
you.
he's great at that.
He's so
got
good.
it down. He's worked so hard.
Yeah, he worked so hard. But that was so fun because, he was inspired by all of that stuff that's been happening. And so, my nailed it in a good way is I can't take credit for that. But Sam, practiced the song and did the tuba during the game, the volleyball game. We are literally the only school with such a huge cheering section that has musical instruments. And then not only was it Sam and then another friend on drums, but then the boys that played in the volleyball game in the first set, they actually, when they finished, they played during, when the girls were playing, that is just not happening anywhere. So I'm just so proud of what my kid started. And so I get to claim him as a nailed it thing because he's my offspring.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, literally he went from a one-man band to this whole crew, kids it's still in their their volleyball uniforms, playing an instrument, getting the crowd fired up. And
it was so fun.
It was, I was telling him, I think the Washington Redskins have an unofficial band that just kind of comes together and stuff. And it's so cool, what he's doing. He's so good at that song, and I wish I had some musical rhythm, and I have none.
Yeah, well, he definitely carried it, and it was very fun, and I was super, super proud of him. So that was a huge highlight for my week. And then, what that may inspire, as a ripple effect. I will say we have more kids coming out for the volleyball games than I've seen in the last several years. And so it's just such a nice vibe for the athletes to see that. And then for the kids to have that ownership of their school and the school pride. I love it. It's been so fun.
Are you contributing that all to the band?
To the band? Well, I sing along, and I definitely clap, and I'm big and cheering. As far as a musical instrument, I am contributing the cowbells and the ukulele. That's really where my skills are ending there.
I love it. That's so exciting, and you can kind of see where this is building, and I can only see the band just getting bigger and bigger as the season comes to an end here.
Yeah.
But kudos to Sam. I told him I was so proud of him. It's just so awesome. I mean, one day he was outside my classroom just playing it.
That was hilarious.
My daughter is pretty good with the hay. I was a little early every single time, and he would just stop and have a little just roll his eyes at me. So it was pretty awesome there. I'm going to start off with how I failed it this week. I mean, I have talked about a lot that I've been trying to cut down on Diet Coke throughout the teaching day. A day could go by. Sometimes I'll have 2 or 3 Diet Cokes. The other day I was just hitting a wall, and I bought a Diet Coke. I had my first Diet Coke during a teaching day of the first quarter. We're a week and a half through the first quarter here, so I was kind of bummed with myself there. So I've been trying to drink less Diet Coke. I try to get out for a run on Saturday and Sunday, and one run during the week there, and that's been a little spotty with everything. So I've been trying to eat healthier, try to have that work-life balance a little more, and I broke down. I had a Diet Coke there, so I felt a little bummed there because I've been doing so good, been working so hard, and I failed it there.
I'm glad you used this as a safe circle.
Yeah, it is. I just had to get it off. I just had to get off my chest there.
Yeah.
Where I nailed it this week, I rolled out the Hummingbird robotics kits
that was
and
cool.
with the 8th graders, and these kits are so awesome because I love so much of people think the coding is the tedious part of things, and the Hummingbird robotics kits, it's the engineering part that kind of goes into everything. And these kits, they're learning how to work servos, light sensors, distance sensors, all these advanced mechanisms. So much about computer science now is going towards the processing and how does the engineering kind of coincide with the computer science side of things. And then we we had one 8th grade student who just like went off on his own, and he's like, yeah, look what I just did. I just did this like sound sensor.
That was
So he's
so
like,
cool.
when I snap, this light goes on. Other students had like tri-LED lights going. They're like, look, we got 3 colors going. So all this code, and like, every time you roll something out, you're a little nervous that there's going to be like, a little software glitch, and so much of like everything like in education has finally moved. Everything's like web based, like everything's like nothing's like software now, because you have to go through like so many loopholes there, and all these like robotics kits they're basically just kind of like a flash drive. You like plug in your USB drive, you like hit download, and then it's on there. And as a teacher, I was like so nervous. I'm like, oh my goodness, what if I get in there and it works on my computer, it doesn't work on their account, and everything worked flawlessly. It was just so exciting to kind of see what the kids were doing and how excited they were, and getting the servos going. And I just love these kits. And now this week they're going to start building their actual like interactive project that goes with movements, lights, distance, like blocking the light sensors. So it's going to be a pretty awesome end to the first quarter here.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, their stuff that you were doing with them was so cool. Well, and what I love is that they had so many different exposures to coding and computer science, just in the quarter that you've had them. But it's been like all these foundational things and kind of stepping stones. And this was such a different experience for them. But the stuff that they did is like they're all in. They're totally engaged, and they're so excited. You think of like the EV3 programming things that they had to do for that, and then the make code and those games, and just a lot of diversity for them. But like they've just grabbed onto everything and been so excited about it.
Yeah, and it's so exciting. I mean, even from an educational standpoint, that it's all about like processing, like what do you build in, and it's no longer like the code is the hard part. It's what you're going to build and engineer with it, and it's so cool. And I was just so excited, the different levels and the tinkering and the kids like trying new things. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome here. Now we want to transition here into AirPods. Now, what is your opinion of AirPods?
Well, as you know, I'm somewhat of a convert on AirPods overall. When I first saw them, I thought they were ridiculous.
You did. You're pretty harsh on your AirPod opinion.
I still don't think they look super cool. I'll be honest. They, having bought a pair per your glowing review, and I was going to the gym with my my Beats headphones, and
tough to work out in Beats.
It is really tough. I mean, I looked pretty cool, but other than that, they're not really good, and they just get so sweaty. And so I decided, okay, like I need some wireless headphones. They work phenomenal. And when I first got them, I had asked you, like, do these hurt your ears? Because my ears are a little tender. But you said you get used to them, and you do. And they're really great. But I still, I still think that they need to be a cooler design. But overall, I think they're awesome.
No, at first it was taking you a while to come around, and your son is like, I mean, he's like a hyena. He's a hyena in the Badlands. Like he just thinks you're gonna gift him these AirPods.
I do owe him $150. I accidentally activated a gift card that I thought was mine that he had got for Christmas
That's
one
a
year.
solid gift card.
It was. It was a birthday, or it wasn't all for me, but
okay.
From my much more generous people.
I want to hang out with these people.
Yeah, not for me. But I accidentally did his, and I thought I did mine, and mine was like $25. And so unfortunately, once you do that, you can't unactivate that, and you can't like set that aside. So I basically was like, I just blew through that. You know how quickly you can blow through an Amazon gift card. And so I did, and I've been owing that to him probably a good year and a half, to be quite honest.
We're getting some compound interest on that, Sam.
Yeah,
get on that.
I know. So he is, legitimate when he says I owe him. So I'm going to get around to it. And if this is what he wants, then I guess that'll be
anytime the AirPods come up, he's just
Oh
like, are you going to give me those? Are you going to give me those? That's what I told you.
Yeah.
I got AirPods for Father's Day, completely unexpected. I thought it was going to be a box of cologne. And usually my Father's Day gifts consist of a shirt that's 2 sizes too small that I can work out and fit into eventually. And they're still hanging in my closet.
That's beautiful.
But those are my traditional Father's Day gifts. Love them, and one day I will get in those shirts. But I got these AirPods, and I was like you at first. I was like, I didn't think like they looked uncool. I didn't think those people were weird like you did. You're like, you're gonna be one of those AirPod people. And then my whole thing was that I've never been able to like pop, something just without like a wrap around my ear.
Yeah.
I always like had those like workout headphones that kind of have that wrap that kind of go around there. And Miss Jennifer, who works on it, is one of our facilities managers, swears by them. She's like, I just pop them in, they stay in there, they fit nice and perfect. She's like, I love them. The kids will think you're the coolest if you have them. And then I'm like, all right. And then I have a crazy dog, so when I have the wire on there, like literally, like the leash goes flying, he hits the wire, my phone's like flying out of my pocket. It's a nightmare. And I got these AirPods, and all of a sudden I was like walking my dog. I felt free. I felt alive. I was like, I can't get over this. I was absolutely like so excited, and I was telling you, and it took you a little while to come around.
It did, a long time.
And I was just so excited because I could throw a podcast in when I'm walking the dog. I can listen to music, a new thing in Glendale. I don't know how well they're enforcing it, but you can no longer talk on your cell phone and drive.
Is it only in Glendale?
I think it was a Glendale initiative. But, I have a daughter who's in there. Like, she won't even let me touch my phone while I'm driving. You have Bluetooth in your car, so that's a nice factor. So anytime I'm driving, I got my AirPods in there.
That was a selling feature for me
yes,
there.
I'm telling you. I mean, and the quality when you take a call, it's amazing. Like,
It really is.
But the issue that I'm running into is, like, as humans, like, are we trying to like remap our genetic makeup for these things to like fit into our ears and fit perfectly? Because I'm having a little issue. So when I run, I can only have one in at a time. Like, I literally have to hold one and run one. I don't know if I have sweaty earlobes or what's going on.
It wouldn't be your earlobes. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, was it ear
Yeah,
hole?
I don't even know.
Well, we'll have to get the correct name there, but I literally cannot run with two of these in at the same time, and it is driving me crazy. So I'm out there running, holding my phone and running, and then after some time, one gets loose, and I can put the other one in. And you've talked to many, and I see students running all the time. I mean, like full blown, like sprinting, and they stay in. So I just don't know what the issue is. So then the other day I went for a 2-mile run for my calf. I talked about my calf injury. My calf started getting tighter. And then I hopped on the bike for 25 minutes. And let me tell you, a bike at the gym seat is not very comfortable. But in those 25 minutes, my AirPods did not come out. They didn't move. So I don't know if I'm like a wobbly runner, like my head's like bobbing and weaving. And I think I've come to the realization that I'm going to have to start doing the what's like the cross country skiing. Is that the
Dude, that's my favorite
that's
thing.
your
That's
thing?
what I do. It's the elliptical. I love that
elliptical.
thing.
So like
You can
literally,
burn so many calories on that sucker.
that's what I like. Until I was reading online that it could take like a calf injury like 3 or 4 months to like heal. Like, and literally every time I run, like my calf, like I feel like I'm like shot. I'm like I can't even walk. So
You will love the elliptical. I'm telling you what.
I'm
I
crossing
picture
over.
myself that I think that the Olympic team might come for me because I'm just that good on the elliptical. I mean, I don't want to brag, but I'm really pretty good at it. But I have no idea if the running thing is an issue because I would never run on purpose. So it's hard for me to gauge what would happen if I did that. And no, I don't have any.
And then you have no issues like with them staying in on the elliptical?
No, I don't. I don't have any issues. What I do wonder is, and this is so not at all, I mean, but like, aren't you supposed to be able to tap them and get them to do certain things? Like
You can turn them off. You can play the next song.
Yeah, but
I don't even know the system there.
Okay, well, it's supposedly set up, and I tap, and all I can hear is a lot of echoing into my ear, and it's just very loud, and so that is not working. So it's funny that you talked about AirPods because our buddy Brady, one of our students, the kids are constantly carrying these things around. Those are not cheap. They're not cheap. And so one of my students was doing a project.
For your class?
For my class, and he jumped off the swing. It was safe. I was right there. And I guess I didn't know he had AirPods in his pocket, and they flew out. And he recorded it. He didn't know he was recording them falling out. But then, so I spent that night coming up with his family trying to find AirPods in the dark in the sandbox. And I have to tell you, we never found those things. But it's just interesting. These kids are like inseparable with these things. Like
he was a mess.
He was a mess. He still is a mess. But yeah,
then, like once you have AirPods, like you can't go back. Like
really can't.
I could never go back. Like I picked up like a wire. I was like, I almost like they touched them like they had a disease. Like I was like.
But the only thing is there are other wireless headphones, but they are really good quality.
They are really good quality. The phone calls, calls. Anytime we're talking on the phone, it's like I'm on my AirPods. Can you believe this?
And you really can't tell. Like it's really, really good. So I have come around. I don't know what we're gonna do for you for your sweaty
do you
ear
feel
things.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're. Maybe you need to like cotton balls surrounding.
There's gonna be something, but I literally see all the kids in the neighborhood like bombing, like just like working out like crazy, running, and they're not falling out. And I feel like I'm the only person having this issue. And like I said, I was like I've been trying to switch the right and left one when I walk just so my ears get like a better grip in my ear hole.
You know what's
my
sad is like this is our biggest challenge in life right now. But you know what? It is a STEM challenge, and I think one of our listeners will be able to help. So if you can come up with a solution for this issue, we need help.
Yes, and it's I've been upset about this. Like
I can clearly see that.
I can go for a walk, I can drive my car, no issues. But when I start running, like one comes out, I can only have one in at a time. I'm constantly fidgeting as I'm running. Like it's not a good system for me, and I love them, and I was their biggest fan.
I'm trying to picture this. Like I'm trying to envision like what the fix is, because it's not just one ear that
like
you have problems
like there's
with,
like a magnetic thing, like the angle that we have them in. I don't know. I just think, and we don't even know how they work. That's a sad thing. We don't know how to go to the next song. Like we clearly need like a whole AirPod tutorial.
Where's Brendan? We need Brendan. Brendan helps us with these
he's
hard things.
He's our tech person there. Yeah. But that's my. I felt like this has been something that we haven't talked about for like a while, and I was like this week we're going to talk about AirPods.
I support you.
And poor Brady, I feel his pain, because if I lost my AirPods, it'd probably be like 5 more Father's Day before I get a new set. And my wife is very jealous that she doesn't have the AirPods. I'm like, well, when they come with the black ones, I'll get the black ones, and then I'll just like hand these off to you. And I don't know if there's any future of the black ones coming out. Like you said, like I'm all about these cool AirPods, and I don't know. It's I'm glad that you've come around. I'm glad you didn't hand them off. I'm like, just slow your roll. Don't give them, like, you just got to get used to them.
I was 100% going to give those away. Yeah. But I also was a holdout on the Apple Watch, if you recall. And I did not see any value in that. And then, like, now I cannot imagine not having it.
Disconnect to connect. I mean, we're just brainwashed by this technology. Now we got the iPhone 11 coming out, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, oh my goodness, why didn't I just wait a little bit? But I just couldn't. But
because of the portrait mode.
Exactly.
Because of the portrait mode. Plus, your phone was really
And then,
bad.
do you know there's like a selfie portrait mode?
Yes.
You'll have to show me how. I didn't know how to do
Wait,
the
on
burst.
ours?
I think so. My buddy was telling me about it this weekend. He's like, yeah, the selfie portrait mode. I'm like, is that like a whole separate? I don't want to act like I didn't know what I was talking about. So I was like, yeah.
That was in the new one.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's
okay. Well, I'm gonna investigate that.
But then, like the burst mode, I never even knew how to take the burst mode until you told me the other day.
The burst. Like, you have children. How can you not know how to do the burst?
I know, and I love burst photos.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, look at this one. But clearly, we're a tech podcast, and
yes.
we clearly need some direction here. Mm-hmm. Now, going with that theme of our tech podcast, there's another thing where I can't believe we're in episode 14 and we've never addressed the elephant in the room. Now, do you know what elephant I'm talking about?
Nope, no idea.
Our podcast artwork.
Oh my gosh.
Now, we pride ourselves like on creating our own artwork, but the truth be told, we did not actually design our beautiful characters, our cartoon-esque profile pictures. Now, your sister actually designed the picture. We did actually take the photo of your nailed it wall and put that in Google Drawing.
Yeah, you did a great job with the artwork, with the components to it.
Yes, so we tweaked that there, and we were so excited, and we got that on there, and it's on iTunes, and that was our biggest thing, and getting the right pixels and everything. That really wasn't a lot of work. but then your sister, your sister designed our artwork, and you were talking to someone who will remain nameless, actually had the audacity to say to you, she said, "What's up with the artwork? Because that doesn't even look like you."
She did.
And
Thank God, because I have to say, no.
And you've actually, like, from day one, you've just, like, absolutely loathed, like, the artwork. You're like, your picture looks like you, and you look good. And you're like,
let's just go with it. It's fine, and we'll change it right away. And
I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And you know exactly what I was talking about. It is horrendous, and I look scary. And this has been the face of our podcast, which has been, #awesome. Yeah.
14 episodes, and then this nameless person said to you, my favorite quote when you told me this, I was like crying. She says, "Does your sister like you?" I was like, oh, it was so funny.
It was funny, and also it does hurt. But yeah, it's pretty bad. But we have plans. We have plans to fix this, right? This is our newest adventure.
This is something that we've had for 14 episodes, and we're gonna fix it, and we're gonna do it ourselves. Knock on wood. There's no wood nearby, but we plan to do it this weekend. But you had a surprise guest. Tell us about your amazing surprise that happened this weekend.
So good. So, well, I mean, I wasn't super excited that Ridge planned their homecoming right smack in the middle of our fall break. That was pretty rough. But, we kind of rallied. I was tethered to the house because my daughter said you were not going anywhere for my homecoming. So I didn't. But my sister decided to drive out and come see us instead, which was really, really cool. It ended up being super fun, and I loved it. And she brought my nieces and my mom, and we had a really, really good visit and got to do some planning, which I had a lot of anxiety about. But for my dad's celebration of life, which is only, 5-6 weeks away.
Have you booked a venue yet?
So we, when she had left today, we had not booked it, but we had a confirmation from someone, from a venue that we really, really like. So I think it's a good vibe, and it's a big responsibility. So you just want to do right by, your loved one that you're trying to honor and celebrate. Plus, people are going to show up, and you don't know where they're going to show up to. So that's a little bit awkward, but the visit was really, really nice. And
what a great surprise. Like,
really
talk
is.
about, like, ending the week, and then they just called, and they're like, we're on our way, and you had this awesome, like, weekend with the fam.
Well, I will say they did. Ella told me that they said they were going to come out, but here's the thing. That's not really how my family rolls, and my sister does a lot of like, yeah, we all have people, and so it's fine. And so I really absolutely did not put any kind of stock into that comment at all. And so when they were actually on their way, then I was surprised. Then I was like, oh my gosh, they are like being sincere, because they have a really busy schedule. And so there was stuff that they were working around. Finley's got some work to do next week, or this week, I guess now. And then so does my other niece. And so I knew it was going to be kind of a tight fit for them. So I didn't think that was going to be something that would come to fruition. But, that was an extra good surprise. So. And
I love how you reacted when I was like, yeah, you got to mail those invitations. And you're like, mail invitations? You're like, we're doing e-bites. Like, we don't have time to wait for those. Like, we need e-bites.
Yeah, every time is of the essence. But,
And you love sending letters. That's why I was like so shocked. Like, you're basically like Norm when you walk in the post office. They're like, Christy.
Yeah, I do like sending letters, and that's all well and good. But as my daughter was saying, because I had a long talk, she knew I was very stressed out, especially yesterday, and she said, I know you were stressed out about the venue and about running out of time, but the thing is, it's like we didn't really have a lot of time. It's not like we've had a ton of time to plan this, even, based on when you pass away, which is true. It's true. We kind of decided this last minute, and then everybody jumped into life, and we've been trying to piece this together. But I will say it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really awesome. So it was nice. was really nice
That's
to visit.
amazing. Well, and I think we can settle the debate that does your sister actually like you?
She seems to like me, yeah, but did she do a flattering picture? Not so much, but I don't know if you remember. We sent her a lot of pictures, and she was Finley was little, right? Finley would have been really little because it was a couple years ago. And I remember her wanting to kill both of us, really. And because we kept sending her, like, well, try this. And then the reason we got that one is she said, I'm all done. Like, that's the one you're going to use. And I was like, okay. So there we have it.
And for the record, Jess, I love my picture.
Yeah,
and
it is good.
You are a Photoshop wizard. Like, the things that she does, like, I mean, even, like, she sent us that other one that we want to put on a pillow. And it's just
Love
like,
that one.
you know, like, I want to use that as our podcast art, but then I feel like we lose our personality with our faces on there.
I mean, especially even mine being such a creepy face, but it is such a creepy.
How much do you hate? How much, like, I just, like, I can't even recall, like, a day that hasn't gone by where you've, like, mentioned how much you hate, like, that photo.
I really don't care for it. And I look gray, or I don't even know. It's not even a color.
Shadowy. You kind of look like a shadowy character.
Yes. I'm shady, and it's not my favorite. So one day we're going to have a new one.
We have 2 websites. We're going to do a challenge, and maybe the tables will be flipped. Maybe they'll be the same. Maybe we'll come out like even par, where we both love this cover art. But, you know, we got to do an updated photo of the Nailed It wall with this new group of kids.
There's so much on there right now.
And I'm so excited for that. Well, with that being said, I think we got to talk about. We didn't even touch on homecoming. Like this past week on Thursday, this is homecoming for Mountain Ridge, which is like our feeder high school. You guys took the entire 8th grade up there for the homecoming parade. The first year they were doing that. Tell us your thoughts.
Was that Thursday? I didn't even realize it was Thursday.
That was Thursday.
Okay, so that was just the coolest thing. Again, you know, kudos to Mountain Ridge because it's the first year that they've done homecoming floats and then this whole parade thing that goes with the floats. And I think that they got some inspiration definitely from Sandra Day O'Connor. I don't know if any other local schools do it, maybe Sunrise, but I'm not sure. So, but they decided to take this on, and that's a big undertaking. That is a big undertaking. And so I know anytime you add something new to, you know, a school's plate, you know, there's a lot of different people that really a lot's falling into your lap to kind of take that on, and you don't know what it's all going to look like, but it was spectacular. I was really, really proud of what they pulled together, and they invited a lot of the feeder schools. So 8th grade for our school was there, and Terramar and Legend Springs with their 6th grade class, and I don't know about Highland Lakes, but I know they extended it to quite a few of these schools. And we just lined the streets, and the parade went through. And there are so many moments when you realize, you know, we feel this way a lot at Sierra Verde, but, you know, we're in a very small community, and we feel very like a tight-knit community, and we know a lot of people, and it's just that heartwarming feeling. And we're very fortunate that our kids are part of this environment. But when you're out there, it really shows you how far that extends, and then to see it at the high school level and to understand, like, that's where our kids will be, and just that, the bridge, you know, like, my big thing as an 8th grade teacher is I want there to be that natural transition, the bridge from our school to high school, and that relationship. And you want them to have that positive, that anticipation, the excitement, and just understanding what a big deal that is, and kind of seeing themselves there. And watching that parade, it just had that feeling, and I just loved it. And, you know, Dr. Finch did a great job. I don't know, is that called Grand Marshal when you're in a parade? I don't know, when you're in the car and you're waving. I don't know. He was throwing stuff out. You need to throw way farther away from the car, though, Dr. Finch, like way farther. Like, I was kind of thinking you need like a t-shirt cannon or something. I don't know. But the kids had so much fun. The teachers had so much fun. And I just felt incredibly grateful that that invitation was extended, because they could have just done the parade and had it been through, you know, all their students at Ridge. But the fact that they extended it to so many schools in the area was cool. You know, I mean, they brought a bus over for us, and that takes effort. And, you know, I just I'm so excited for next year because, it's like their first year. So then every year from now we'll get better and better, theoretically. So.
And you love seeing all your former students. You
I
were just like
loved
so
it.
excited seeing everybody, and your bucket was just full. You
It was
came
so
back and you
cool.
were just like smiling.
I just love it. And, there's so many, and like to be in the parade, you have to be doing something, right? So that speaks very, very highly of our school is we have these kids that we're sending up and they're doing things. They're getting involved in DECA and Stugo and, the dive and swim team and the football team and the cheerleading squad. And, there was like the drama group and like just all these different components, the band and, all of these different areas in that school. We have students that are participating, and I love that because you want them to go and you want them to experience high school, and you don't just want them to show up and go through the motions. They're actually part of this whole environment at the school, and I was so proud of them, and they were just so excited, and I don't know, it was just such a highlight for me for sure. I cannot wait till next year.
The kids are so excited. Like they were getting T-shirts, and some kids got one T-shirt, some got none, and then some kids wanted a different design. These are nice Mountain Ridge T-shirts. Like it literally felt like it was a Suns game, and they're
nice.
They're like good
Muhammad
quality.
got 2.
Yeah, like kudos to Muhammad.
I know.
SV News team there.
I know. He was really excited, and I asked a girl, and she legit looked at me and walked away, and I was like, how can you deny me a T-shirt? I was so upset, and Muhammad was going to just, give one away, and I was like, it's fine. Next year is my year for a T-shirt. I got a pinwheel.
Note to self, if you are in charge of handing out T-shirts, find Mrs. Schofield next year.
Barely bitter.
She's clearly has not gotten over this.
But I do like my pinwheel. I really do.
No, it was such an awesome thing and such a great opportunity for 8th graders to do something that kind of, lets them know what's coming down the pipeline. Even the different like sports teams were out there, all those cool kind of things. And what a great weekend to get everyone pumped up for homecoming weekend, which do you want to talk about your emotional wreck before the dance?
Yes. So homecoming was cool. I didn't get to go to the game, which I was really, I had been looking forward to going to that on Friday.
Family trumps things sometimes.
No, it did. And, and I just decided like this is something to let go, which is huge for me. And so Saturday, though, we had the kids over and we did, just like some light food. And then we went down to the lake to take pictures. And I didn't realize why.
How was Blue?
Blue was naughty. That's my dog, and he was pretty naughty. So, he got to have a bone in his kennel, and, it was fine. We helped him regroup. So, but, we headed down to the lake, and first of all, I forget that I'm not just a mom. So, when I show up.
You're so much more than a mom. Don't ever forget.
Well, the thing is I forget that, that when I go out and go places, I'm Mrs. Schofield and also Ella's mom. So when I went out, like I just was, I threw on whatever. I don't even remember, like just schlepped down there because it's Ella's day.
Vocab word.
Yeah. And we're down there for Ella and her friends. And so, I got dragged into so many pictures. So, oh my gosh, it's horrifying that I'm in these pictures with these kids that are all so cute. And then here's Mrs. Schofield looking rough, but that's fine. It's fine. So we go down there.
Clearly still bitter.
I know. I really should have thought that through.
I think you've learned a life lesson this past weekend.
Yes. I should wear a pair of glasses and a hat so that I cannot be spotted is what it is. So when I got down there, though, I got really, really emotional because, I have been driving by and, one day this will be you, but like think about all the times you drive by in the neighborhood during homecoming or prom and you see all the kids at the lake. And, it's something that you're so used to seeing them take pictures. And I've always saw that. But, I always thought like, oh, look at those kids are, all grown up and whatever. But now that's my kid. And so although this is her second year, we didn't do that at the lake last year. We did that some other location. I don't even know what it was, some park. I'm not good with details. So, and then kids have been doing this at, before Sierra Verde dances too, but I work those. And so I'm always here and setting up and part of that whole process. So I've always missed that. So it was the first time that I've gone and been part of that whole experience. And it was really, really such a cool thing. And again, when I talk about like the community that we live in, I don't even know how many kids were out there, maybe I don't know, 50, 60 kids, probably more than that actually, but just our group.
You're not great with details.
I'm not. I'm really bad with details. But the group that Ella's grown up with, this group, my first year of teaching, they are still friends. And so it's just, I tried to do this picture of all of them, and I couldn't even take a picture because it just stretches on and on and on.
That's why you need the iPhone 11 Max.
I guess so.
The ultra wide mode.
I guess I do. So, but it just warmed my heart because you see like these kids, they genuinely like each other. It's not just like, oh my gosh, there she is, here I gotta take a picture. Like there's this excitement, and they all are friends, and they've maintained these friendships, and I love it. Plus there's a huge group of my boys. Like that year it was like, I have a lot of kids that I'm keeping a close eye on, that I just want to watch them grow into adulthood, and these are those boys. And so to be able to spend that time with them and see them, all together, and they're doing well, and I just was so proud. But yeah, I just came home and I was just like, it's a high, but it just hits you because sophomore year, and then like it's going like fast.
Yeah, I kind of had one of those moments driving to soccer practice tonight. That me and you both love driving with the windows down. Can be 120. We're both big fans of the windows down, and I bombing it's getting cooler in Arizona, so we're not looked at weirdos now that when we have the windows down, they're like, that car must have no AC. That's why they have the windows down. And then so we're just bombing down actually by Mountain Ridge, going to soccer practice, and you just have those moments when you just like look back in the rearview mirror and you like see that part of you that's the best part of you, and just makes you so whole and so happy. And just seeing my daughter there smiling, just thinking, like wondering about the world, and listening to music, it just like catches you, and you're like, oh my goodness,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of this month she's gonna be turning 9, and you're like, where'd the time go? And Ryan, actually, his birthday's on Wednesday, he's turning 7. It's like, wow. So you're so right in those moments. You want to capture those moments and enjoy those, but that was just like something that kind of caught me off guard, just not even thinking, but just look in the rearview mirror, just like one of those country songs. I know you're not a country fan, nor am I, but it was just like one of those moments that kind of sucker punched me in the moment there.
No, I totally had so many of those this weekend too, with like my nieces and stuff. And when you don't, like you have family on the East Coast, so then there's this gap of time, and then all of a sudden you'll see them and you're like, oh my gosh, like this part has passed, or I've missed this milestone, or you just met your niece, and she was how old?
She was almost 2. I'm not proud of it.
No.
But she did love Uncle Rob, like Baby Grace, and they were getting upset that I was calling her Baby Grace. I was like,
that's such a cute name forever.
But
that's so cute.
Baby Grace is my rock. If you're listening, Baby Grace, shout out to you.
Yeah. So but with my nieces, I had that several times this weekend. And, like the first morning that we were all there, it was just pile into the bed and just be all snuggly and giggled and like just hung out in the morning. And I just remember that, when my kids were little, now if I do that, they probably would still let me, but I'll be honest, that's the last one I'm thinking of doing. I usually want to have coffee. But it was just so...
Just that vision. Just that vision alone.
I know, it was sweet. But, they were all in there, and, my kids, and then the littles, and it was just so fun with my sister, and it was really, really just a special time. You just have to treasure those moments as like, I don't know that you would say it's a tradition, but it's just the moments.
Powerful stuff. I feel like this episode we're hitting a little of everything. We're hitting tech, we're hitting life, we're hitting don't ever grow up, sweaty ear holes. This is what you get on the Nailed It Wall. You just never know where you're gonna get when you tune in, and that's what makes us unique. Well, I think we gotta get back on track here. I love the homecoming story. Again, we always talk about making the weeks better and better, and it was just a great week all around. And I love, sharing those stories with you, seeing those stories. The one thing I do question your pulse a little bit when you showed me a picture of baby Amelia, and I'm like, how does that not want to give you baby fever? Like, she is the most adorable little baby ever.
Oh, she is. Trust me, she is super, super cute. You know what, though? I really, really enjoy sleep now and my routine, and I like being able to do all the things I do. And I love that I get to be the auntie to that adorable little girl. She is so cute.
You got some amazing little nieces there.
I do.
All right. Well, this Friday we are a part of a distinguished. I think distinguished is like a not a powerful enough word.
I agree.
What's elegant? Like what?
Elegant is not it. You keep going, and I will come up with the
Okay,
word.
you come up with us. Go all Mrs. Chesborough for us. But this week, this Friday, actually started yesterday. It's the first International Education Drone Conference. It's not a physical conference. It's all online. It's by My Maps, a group out of Australia, which is She Maps.
Yep. My
Nailed
Maps
it.
is Google because
yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do. We do a lot of My Maps. She Maps, they're a group out of Australia that gets girls excited about the drone industry, all these cool things. And they saw like all the cool things that we were doing drones last year between the Moxie girls in both of our STEM classes. And they were like, we love what you're doing, International Drone Day. And they reached out to us and they wanted us to be presenters at this. And I shot back. I'm like, are you sure about this? They're like, yes, we love everything you're doing. You guys are perfect for this. And they were so pumped up that we're going to be part of it. We're doing our spiel together, which is kind of fun. It's going to be a 10-minute presentation. Mrs. Grabham, who's just huge in the drones, but when you see these like 40 presenters and their pictures and their backgrounds, it's just so funny where it's like, me and you do not belong, but Mrs. Grabham reminded us, she's like, you are the ultimate people that do belong, and our pictures are just like so classic us of just being us, and we're so excited to have this reach and kind of share our story of how we got excited with drones and building drones and all the things kind of upcoming in this year. And we always talk about we have no clue what's going to happen in the year that's coming to us, and this is something that just kind of came to us over the course of the summer. And we're like, yeah, we'd love it. And like we're like, oh man, you're like, are we on Thursday? I'm like, no, we're on Friday.
Oh my gosh, the time difference is killing us.
Yeah.
Like the time zone, even to do like different checks and stuff, we have no idea what we're doing with that part of it. We're gonna crush it. It's gonna be so much fun though.
Yeah, so we're so excited about that, to kind of talk about all the cool things our students are doing, what we're doing as educators, how we're always trying to learn these new things in the drone community, getting kids excited about drones, talking about safety. It's going to be an awesome conference. So if you're into drones, definitely check out She Maps, not My Maps, She Maps. They're out of Australia, and it's the first ever EDU drone conference, and we are honored to be among these 40 distinguished. Have you come up with a word yet?
I didn't. I racked my brain, but I feel like distinguished is good.
Yeah, I think they're...
I will say it's a very diverse group, right? And I do really like the fact that they invited us to do this. We love drones. We love doing all kinds of stuff with drones. I know that we'd like to extend that, financially. We'd like to extend our drone capacities, and just, we have big plans for it. So I'm really excited to see what we get to do, and like what we get to see from these other people too.
We might be the only people that did not test the network connection, but we came up with a better idea. We're gonna team up with Mrs. Grabham and get together, and we're all gonna do it together on Friday, because she's 2 presenters before us.
Too.
So it'll be pretty cool there. So it's gonna be great. We can't wait to fill you guys in next week how our presentation went. I'm just excited about it, because it's like, it's going to an international like audience, like, different countries all over the world. And the fact that, this is on Australia's time zone, me and you were such a mess. I'm like, oh, it's this time. And we were actually going to we're going to test something at 4 our first presentation was like at 4 a.m. or something.
Yes,
and
it was
like,
some crazy time.
And I'm like, oh, maybe we could do it. It was like, we're like at 3:30 or something.
Well, I didn't even get a chance to tell you, but I did try to touch base with them to figure out the timing of the tests, testing with them. And Lori sent me a message and said, I just got them to get on right now and test. Send them an email right now and see if they'll set it up. And so I did, and then I didn't. I guess I missed my window, but I was trying to set that up for us to follow through, just because we're so confused. Like, does this mean like their morning? Does it mean our morning? I don't really understand. I just really literally need them to just say, at your time on this day, do this. That works well.
Details aren't a strong point. I'm like, yeah, I did it right. I calculated it. I added like Australia's like time onto my phone. Like, I'm like, everything's right. And you're like, this is not adding up. It says like we're going to get 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, well, that's when we're gonna have to do it. And you're like, what?
That's not my best time. Not my best time. I can't even imagine what I would come up with.
Well, with the addition of the Kiva Planks arriving to the makerspace, your baby, in the metaphorical sense, has arrived. Tell us what came this week.
Oh my gosh, I was so excited. So the heat press, which we have been waiting for, I don't even know, how long have we wanted the heat press?
Years.
Yeah.
I think a good like 3, maybe 4 years.
Yeah,
from
and
the
we
beginning.
saw a cool one when we went and toured another school. So, I mean, I think once we saw one of those, I think they had 2, and we saw those set up, we were kind of like, okay, we've got to make this happen. And we do have a pretty good setup with how we were doing our shirts. But yeah, it's something that we really want to expand on. And we have the capacity to do, kind of a bigger scale thing here with our kids and the staff. So anyway, we wanted to get this heat press, and it finally arrived, and that was so much work getting that, as we talked about in that other episode.
And you almost gave up on it.
Like
there's a point there where you're like, you almost waved the white flag.
But man, I mean, I battled for a long, long, long time on this, and it all ended up coming together. And so and I am not, I am not a patient, and so when they said it's in the office, and everybody knew how important this would be because Phil came to tell me, and then Kim didn't know Phil told me already, so she walked to my classroom to deliver this great news, which I felt like I let her down because I didn't want to pretend like I didn't know. So
you really should have.
I know I would, but that's not who I am. So anyway, I go over and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pull this. I told you I'm gonna come in your class that period. I'm gonna have the heat press. I'm gonna set it up. So I get into the office and I get the cart and I go to pull this thing up, and it weighs so much. I don't even know how much. I mean, what would you say? Several hundred pounds.
It's heavy.
It's heavy. It feels very heavy.
I wish we live streamed me and you taking it out of the box.
No, what you should have seen is me trying to get that up on the cart by myself. And I'm trying to get it up on the cart by myself. And then this mom, who we both know, she came in a dress, fully, like definitely for work, heels, dress, and she felt bad. I'm trying to drag it onto the cart, and she's like, that it's not going to fit. Where are you putting it? I was like, nope, it's going to fit. So I'm like trying to shove it. Anyway, she helped me lift it. I don't even know how we lifted it. It was so heavy. We get it in here. I lost my coffee mug for a whole day just in this process.
You were concerned that you actually threw your coffee mug in the dumpster.
I was.
And you had to go through the day on like 1 cup of coffee.
It was very, very, very sad for me that day. But we got it all out. It's all set up. Well, it's set back there. Now you and I will 100% have to read the instructions on this one, because when you look at that thing of beauty, there are a lot of moving parts.
We're both looking at it right now, and I'm pretty sure there's a twinkle, it's
amazing.
Like
it is beautiful,
coming out of your eye as you're just like.
It's multifunctional.
It is. It's got the swing arm.
It has a swing arm, and we can do mugs, and we can do hats.
And then everything I said, I was like, everyone that was coming in to see it, Mr. Galletti popped in, and I'm like, yeah, Schofield, she wanted all these attachments.
Which she wanted to be able to, hilarious.
She wanted to be able to do mugs, hats,
yeah.
And then you refreshed my memory and said that I was the one that said we need to have this, and this, and we need to be able to do this.
Do mugs, and you know what? We're gonna be able to do all these things, and I'm so excited. And I showed you that I found at Joann's that they have like those long sleeve hoodie shirts now.
You found a perfect one the other day.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So now I'm even more.
Is like the way to go.
I love that thing. So I cannot wait to branch into that. And then also just our silk screen. I think that's what it is, screen printing, that we're going to be able to do hand in hand with this. So like this heat press, it's like just the best. I mean, we've waited forever for that.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
I'm
so
pumped.
Excited. We're going to do so many cool things with it. And this has literally been, we talked about that one episode between going through vendors, approved vendors, the front office, district, getting all these things approved. It was a true battle, and it wouldn't have happened. I mean, you truly like waved the white flag, and I've never seen you so dejected. And you're like, it's not going to happen. And then Mrs. Tanner came through in the bottom of the 9th and knocked it out of the park.
She's a rock star. I did feel like it was such a big moment that when I came in with the cart, I felt like there should be some trumpets or a ticker tape parade or something, because it was like so monumental to me to like be able to undo this whole box thing, and seeing it there, and it's hard to believe that it's actually here.
It is here. Let's just hope you don't burn yourself on it, because that would hurt, and we don't want to have one of those nailed it wall stories there.
I love that it's assumed that it would be me when we both know who that would be right there.
The jury's still out on that. Well, we covered a lot of things. Mrs. Scofield's sister actually does like her. We talked
She
about
does.
AirPods, Kiva planks, the press. I mean, EDU drone conference.
It's going to be awesome.
It was a great week. It's going to be tough to top that in 3 days of school, but we still have one more day off. And shout out to International Drone Day. Not International Drone Day, International Podcast Day.
Podcast Day. Just think of what that's going to do for getting that whole, medium, that whole thing with the students getting involved. I'm so excited to see how much that grows.
All right, people. Keep changing the world. We're out. If you're like us and you can't get enough of the Nailed It Wall, you can find me on Twitter. You can search for Mr. Lane the STEM Guy.
Or me at a positive proton.